Hello, beauties.
Hi, Mom.
Are you excited
Yeah.
for your big filming day?
My name is Tim Runyan, and this is my beautiful wife, Kristen Runyan, and we are the Runyan Family. And we've been going to C3 now for 2 years.
2 years, yep. I first found out about C3 by being invited to Hero in 2016. And as soon as I came to Hero, I thought, this is a church that I want to know more about. I started bringing Anna, my teenage daughter, and that's where she had a pretty powerful encounter with Jesus.
My freshman year of high school, the whole family moved out here from Iowa, and going into high school not knowing anyone was really hard. And I didn't really remember a time when I knew who I was. I'd been in therapy since I was 3. I didn't sleep. I really couldn't eat. My last 2 weeks of my freshman year, I was actually in a hospital because my depression had gotten so bad that I didn't really see a reason to be here anymore. My mom told me to come to a Sunday service, and so I did, and they showed a promotional video for the My City Summer Camp for 2016, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do, that looked so fun. And so the Friday before, I went to My City for the very first time, and Ashley Robbins told me to come to the 5, and David Chittick preached, and then I got prayed over, and I got saved, and then the next day I went to summer camp, and it was one of the best weeks of my life, and I got so much closer to God, and I really found who I was. And school's just kind of changed now because it wasn't a great place for me before, but now I go in and I know people, and I've actually started Thursday morning prayer group for the school, and it's just a place that I like to be now. I look back and I don't really remember the past 16 years because I found so much healing in the past 2 years at C3 than I have in the 13 years of therapy before that.
And then I got involved through the Emerge men's conference, and I was just new to the church, and I was really kind of on the fence about it. And the minute I got there, the guys made me feel incredibly welcome. I knew no one, and I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, when Tim came home from Emerge, I had been trying to get him to go to church, and not pressing too hard, but trying to get him to go. When he came home from Emerge, he goes, okay, so I'm going to start ushering. Okay. And he's been a 10 o'clock usher ever since. And then Natalie came, our youngest daughter, came to Twisted in 2017.
My family, when they started coming to church, I felt super isolated and alone because I couldn't understand how all of these people could have this blind faith in something that I didn't believe was real. And so I saw Twisted in 2016, and I liked it, but I didn't really connect with it. I just was like, oh, it's like a cool show that we do. And so when 2017 came along, I was like, I want to go. And so I saw 3 shows, and I connected with the story much more than I had the year before. So when it came time for you to raise your hand if you wanted to come back to God, I raised my hand, and it ignited my love with the church, and I couldn't imagine this 4 months ago happening to me. It's just been the best time of my life. And now I wake up every morning and I text friends from Alliance, and I text them Bible verses, and I can just see this transformation happening in their lives, and I can see that I'm actually making a difference in what I'm doing. And I realized how much power that I have when I have God on my side.
When it came around time for Vision Builder, again, I was still relatively new in the church. It came time to come up with a pledge number, and we knew that Kristen's company was going to be selling that year.
And so the number that we came up with is we said, well, we'll give 10% of what the company is expected to sell at. And then when the company did sell, it sold for far less than what we expected.
Yes.
And so that original 10% pledge actually turned out to be more of a 25% pledge. But we said, nope, we're still in. We're going to fulfill this pledge. So the first thing that we did is we gave first fruits right off of that first check. One of the things that we had been praying for was a house. I went to the Empower conference, and Pastor Jurgen preached a message on our sons and daughters will prophesy. And he said, I want you to prophesy right now on what you've been hoping for, what's on your heart. I said, I want a house. The Saturday a week later, so 9 days later, we put an offer in on this house. And it was just remarkable because we weren't shopping. We weren't really looking to buy.
It was the first house on the first weekend with our agent, and we walked in the door and both of us were like, this is the house.
It was like as soon as we walked through the door of this house, I call this house the point because it was like God's exclamation point. Yes, you're meant to be in San Diego. Yes, you're meant to have this house. And yes, you're meant to be planted at C3. It was almost the feeling, and I think both of us felt it, that if we didn't put an offer in on this house, we would have been being disobedient. We really feel like because this is God's house, it's not even the Runyans' house, that we are compelled to host connect groups and to invite people over for holidays and to have parties and to welcome people here, because we want this to not only be a home for our family but a home for anybody at C3. And we've been very diligent about continuing to fulfill that Vision Builders pledge, and just last week we wrote our last check. Boom. So we have fulfilled that Vision Builders pledge, and we have been so blessed since we've just really pressed in on that. And we would just encourage everybody to break through whatever fear or anxiety is holding you back around giving. We've almost become an Amazon culture of we want to track our package. We want to know exactly when it leaves the warehouse and if it's on its way and when is it coming to me. And that's not how God's economy works. You don't get to track your miracle. It's going to show up when it is least expected, and it may take longer than you think, but that doesn't mean that it's not on its way. And the other beautiful thing about God's economy is whatever it is that you ordered, it's coming in bigger and better than what you expected, because He is the God of miracles.